So we're going to look at how to run the spread simulator through Google Sheets. So if we open up this folder, we'll see two files: the spread simulator instructions and the spread simulator spreadsheet. This is what you're going to be using with your classroom. So when you open it up, you'll see that there are three tabs on the bottom. The first one, the spread simulator tab, is the one that you and your students are going to be working in the most. The other two are for examples that you're going to see throughout the rest of this video. To get you oriented with this spreadsheet, what you want to do before class is to come in and put student names into this column. This will assign your students an individual code. After you've assigned your students a code, you're ready to run the activity. Let's take a look at how it's run.
Okay, so I'm working in a relatively small group, and so what I'm going to kind of illustrate is what a student might see as they're running through this activity, and the way that they're kind of bounced randomly from group to group. So you won't really run it this way. I'm going to be hopping from breakout room to breakout room. As a teacher, you're going to actually be moving your students around randomly. So I'm going to open my breakout room. I'm just randomly going to join one of these, room 3. Hey, Allison, can I get your code?
So my code is D.
Cool. So you can see that interaction 1 here in my row. I'm going to type in a D. And Allison, whenever she fills out hers, she's going to type in my code. So my code's E. I'll fill it out for her there. You see she would put an E there. Thanks, Allison. So you can see that interaction 1 here under in my row. I'm going to type in a D. And Allison, whenever she fills out hers, she's going to type in my code. So my code's E. I'll fill it out for her there. You can see she would put an E there. Thanks, Allison. Okay, so now's the time you would be pulling your students out of their breakout rooms. You only need to give them a few seconds to exchange their codes. You'll pull them out, recreate new randomly distributed breakout room, and then you would send them to it. So here I'm going to randomly just join breakout room 1.
Oh, we got Peter.
Oh. So in this breakout room, there's going to be 3 of us. And so if you have an odd number of students, this is going to happen. At least one of your breakout rooms is like every time you set them up, one of them is going to have at least 3 students in them. That's totally fine. Tony, can I get your code first?
C.
C, great. And Liz, can I get yours?
I am code A.
A, thank you. So yeah, so there's 2 slots here for me to put it in. So I put in C and A for my interaction 2. In the same way, Liz is going to put in Tony's code, C, as well as my code, which is E. And then Tony would also be putting in at the same time my code, which is E, and Liz's code, which is A. Great. Thanks, guys. And so I'll randomly just join another breakout room. And so here I'm back with Allison again. And that's because you're randomly distributing your students, that's likely to happen at some point, is they might end up in the same room. And that's totally fine. We go through the same things. Allison, can I get your code again?
Yes, it's D.
D. So I'll put hers again on interaction 3. And she would go in whenever she has time to update hers and put my code in there again. Thanks, Allison. So I'm going to end it there just after 3 interactions, but I want to point out that I never visited room 2. I never visited Val's room. And that may happen. You may have students that never interact with one another, and that's not a big deal. That's nothing that you should be concerned about.
If you take a look at this slide, I have set up a set of example data. So I have 19 students, each have their own code, and each of